Okay, so this is my channel. I'm Axis, and right now I'm gonna give my Senate prediction. So right now I'm gonna go over to the generic congressional vote, and so right now it's projected, the polls are showing that Democrats have a 4.7 advantage in the generic ballot, and so down here it's like the chart. So back in the beginning of Trump's term, like around August, they only had 2.9. And do you see like how look at the 42 mark? So it stayed, like Republicans stayed like along that line until like around like May, where they had like the dip down. But then suddenly like they came up again, and now they have momentum compared to the Democrats, who were compared to now they were rising. They started off at 46, but then they climbed their way to 48. But ever since like the beginning of April, they kind of just been like on the 48% line. And it's weird because usually in the summertime, the Democrats have the advantage where their poll numbers go up in the polls. Like in 2018, they their advantage in the generic ballot increased, but now right now it's just relatively staying the same, which is not a which is like it's not that common. So I think this increase right here from the 42% mark to the 43. So this increase right here is most likely due to the MOU and like the Strait being opened, quote unquote opened for a bit. But now, as we know, the war is starting back up. So gas is most likely going to increase again. And so we're at a 4.7 generic environment for the Democrats, but it fluctuates because at one point the Republicans were down at only 40%, but now they're about 43%, so it fluctuates. So I'm just gonna I think most people have it around like I'm just gonna have it as around the 6-point national environment. So here is what I think. So I think let's start off with Maine. So in Maine, I think Grant Plattner, so he dropped out because he was scandal ridden, and because of that, they got a new person called Troy Jackson, and he doesn't have that many scandals, so that's good. And I think that as of right now, I'm gonna put it as lean. I think that he wins by like maybe 4 points as of right now. And then let's move to North Carolina. I think for North Carolina, in a 6-point national environment with the Democrat advantage, I think that Roy Cooper, I think he wins by maybe like 4 to 8 points. So I'm just gonna put it as lean. And then I think Ossoff is maybe I think I'm gonna put that as likely. I think Ossoff, he's gonna win by like possibly a double-digit lead if the environment's good enough. But then I think also Michigan, Abdul El Said, he's in a primary right now, and in that primary he's facing Haley Stevens, and people don't really want to vote for her. But in Kalshi and in the betting market and like poly market, her odds are increasing as of right now. But I think he wins the primary by like a bit. So I think if he's a nominee, then he wins by maybe 2 to 3 points. And then we get to Florida. I think Florida maybe I think it's Ashley Moody, and I think she wins by 5 as of right now. And I think now we get to Nebraska. So in Nebraska, the Dan Osborne, the independent, is running, and last time in 2024, he only lost by 7 points in a Republican national environment in the presidential year. So that's kind of good considering all things. And I think as of right now he still loses, but maybe by it's a different candidate this time, obviously, but I think he still loses, but I think he still does well considering it's a Democratic midterm year. Okay, let's move on to Ohio. So Ohio is where Sherrod Brown, the Democrat, he was in the Senate until 2024, where he lost, but not by a huge margin. So he lost re-election that year, but that was again a Republican environment, and the person he's running against filled J.D. Vance's seat since J.D. Vance left for the vice presidency. And right now, the person currently holding his seat is John Husted. Right now, John Husted, he hasn't really like ran in a and it's on the election, so we don't really have like data to like back up like what his performance would be like. But I think right now, I would say, I think right now maybe he has like a 1 point advantage or like less, so maybe tilt. And then for Texas, if it's a 6 point environment, I would put it as like maybe I think the Republican, I think he wins by, I think he beats Tallarico by 2 points or more, maybe 3. But if that generic ballot tightens, and then it could get to tilt where he's only leading by 1 point, or maybe even toss up. But as of right now, I would say maybe like 2 points, 2.5 or something. And now also I think Iowa is also gonna be like maybe lean. I think that's also lean, or maybe tilt. I think Iowa is actually tilt because it usually goes to the left of Ohio. So if and we've seen this recently, without like in the last couple of cycles where Iowa is voting to the left of Ohio. And so I'm actually gonna move that. I'm actually gonna move Ohio to there. So I think in a Democratic 6+ national environment, an advantage on the generic ballot, I think Ohio goes to John Husted by 2 points. Or no, I think 1 point actually. And I think Iowa goes to Hinson by 1 point, or like 1.5 or something. So I'm just gonna leave it as that. And now I think Alaska's most interesting because that's where we have Dan Sullivan, the incumbent Republican, and he's not. The residents in Alaska don't really like him, so he has a lower approval rating. And the Democrat Mary Peltola, she is she's been fundraising, and most of the Democrats nationwide have been doing well in their fundraising. But with Mary Peltola, and so in 2022 she ran for the House seat there, and she won it. And that's where, and it's like in Alaska, it's like usually like 1 or 2 representatives represent the whole state just because of the population there. And so Sarah Palin, McCain's former running mate, was running for that House seat, and then they had ranked choice voting, and then she lost, and then Mary Peltola made it over 50% and won that race. But right now there's another Dan Sullivan that jumped into the race, so that could increase her odds of winning. But I think she will. I think if the generic ballot increases to maybe around 8% or even higher, which it could become a wave year, like we saw in 2018, then I think that she does win by a tilt margin. But since this is a Democratic, since this is only a 6-point national environment, I'm gonna say that Dan Sullivan wins by 2 points. And this is my prediction for the midterms. So this is my final prediction as of for the Senate as of July. And I'm gonna be releasing another prediction in August and so forth until election day. And This is not my final prediction, but as of this current moment, it is.